Hey guys, welcome back for another video. So today I'm going to talk to you about a very easy and quite worthwhile upgrade in my opinion to just about any strapped watch, and that is a clasp. Now I'm going to talk about a couple different options here for what are called butterfly clasps. In a few days I've got some more stuff coming in. I'll be able to show you some differences between single fold clasps, which are actually my preferred type on most watches at least. But what we have here are two very popular and low cost options. We're going to start with this guy right here. This is very popular. It's from a company in the UK called Gecko, and these are under 30 bucks shipped. They do have a couple different shipping options. You can save a couple bucks, but that's about the price point at the most. And you can of course catch sales and whatnot. Now it's called a butterfly clasp because they open up to both sides. And I absolutely love these. I don't care what brand it is. I don't care how nice it is. I don't care for buckles, especially because I have larger wrists. They're about 7.5 inches. And it's always a hassle. I'm always on the last 1, 2, maybe third hole, depending on the strap. And just getting this, when it's already, perfectly snug to come on and off, it's a pain in the butt. And then you gotta tuck this under, and sometimes the end can be a bit finicky just to get it under the hoops. I just hate it. So I always replace these as soon as I can. And it takes a little trial and error sometimes because most clasps in the under $100 category, just for this part here, don't have micro adjustments. So you're limited to basically the same kind of adjustment you get on anything, and that's going from hole to hole. One's going to be the best fit for you. But I've gotten pretty lucky, especially changing different clasp units because some do have slight different dimensions. So that's an easy way when you don't have micro adjustments to find your perfect fit. Just change out some parts here and there and you'll get it. So what we have here is very nice construction. I've been using this one on a number of my watches. Here it is installed. And you can see how much easier it is. I mean, you just pop it off and boom, there you go. No fiddling with the strap. There's no wear on the strap. There's no stress on the holes. These never wear out. You don't have stress on the pins, so these never wear out. Your straps basically last forever. They're absolutely fantastic. To go back on, super easy, bing, bang, boom, done. And it's the same perfect fit every time. No stretching, no changing as you wear it. I love clasps. You can see that it has a very nice gentle curve, completely conforms to your wrist. No problem wearing it whatsoever. Now I'm going to warn you, there are some cheap versions for like $5, $6 on Amazon. And they go under a ton of different brand names. They're all, of course, from China. Not that there's anything wrong with China. In fact, I'm going to show you one here from China that's really good. But you'll notice in the product photos that the curve of this is very pronounced. Stay away from those. I had those and returned them immediately because they dig into your wrist. They don't conform at all to the natural curve of your wrist unless you've got some tiny, like 4-inch wrists, seriously. And it leaves this hump. This here is perfect, and everything I'm going to show you fits perfectly. I'm not going to show you junk. This is stuff you might actually want. And I'll put a link to Watch Gecko down below. And I'll link to everything else here down below in case you want to check it out. So to install them, they're super easy. You can see that on the watch here, all you do is remove the buckle, either from push pins or spring pins, and replace this end, and that's it. The other side here opens up, and you size it to whatever size that you were normally wearing. Snap it shut, and that's it. It couldn't be simpler. Well, actually it could. A single fold is even simpler, but only by one step. I'll show you that in a few days. And by the way, stick around towards the end. I got some other stuff to show you about some other videos that are coming up over the next few weeks, maybe months. Got some cool stuff ahead. So looking at this Watch Gecko, everything is nice and beveled. There are no sharp edges. Nothing rubs you the wrong way. It simply works. The tolerance is very good. There's hardly any slop. There's just enough to be completely smooth. The spring mechanism pops it open with complete ease. This is a flawless mechanism. I have nothing negative to say about this at all. You've got the nice clasp up here to hold in your strap itself. No wiggle at all. It's just great. Looking at this one here, this is super similar. Tiny bit more curve, but you don't feel it. This still fits just fine. You know, almost identical. It just ever so slightly, but I don't feel it. I'm not saying everyone won't feel it, but I don't. One thing of note, whenever you order any clasp, order the right size. Okay, you're gonna have what's called the band size when you order a strap, and that's measuring lug to lug up here at the top. That's not what you order a clasp by. Many leather straps taper down, so they're larger up here at the lug than they are down here at the buckle. Now they're not always labeled. I have some that'll say like 20-18. That means 20 up here, 18 down here. But oftentimes you're just going to have to measure to find your exact size. Or it's listed on the strap manufacturer site if it's something you've ordered aftermarket. So bear that in mind. You're ordering according to the buckle end size when you do order a clasp, because that's the only thing that matters. That's where they attach. So the difference is here. On the underside, the Watch Gecko has these two little pieces that are welded on to stop the fold mechanism from going too far. And it's the iStrap is the brand name, but it's just, you know, another Chinese company out of Shenzhen, like tons of them. Nothing wrong with it, but this is what it is. And this one is only $11. So less than half the price. A little bit smoother on the back because it is solid and it doesn't have those little welded pieces, but you might notice the curve. I don't, but just be aware that those are the slight differences. To me, in wearing it, they're identical, so no problem there. Mechanism, spring itself is just as good. Pops open. We do have this nice machine finish here. It looks good. It looks like a very high quality piece. And it is a good high quality piece. There's nothing deal breaking about it, but there are some minor things. One is the tolerance of all the joints. It is looser. It is a little bit looser everywhere. Not too much, and you don't notice it all when it's on your wrist, but when you take it on and off and it's in this position, you notice it. With the Watch Gecko, it's tight. It just feels like an extension of metal. But the iStrap, it's got some wiggle, right? So it's just something that you notice, especially if you've had one that doesn't have that kind of wiggle. It also has some tolerance wiggle in this actual end piece. It wiggles on its own little joint here on this pivot hinge. It moves. So everything is looser, everything is lower quality, but still not a problem. Now, the one thing I really don't like about it, and for me it's a deal breaker. For me it's enough to pay the extra, you know, 14 bucks or whatever, who really cares? But it's the width of the pushers to latch it and unlatch it. And these are even different sizes. This is a 20 and an 18. And you would think that they would even extend out because this is the 18, which is a smaller unit, but they're the same no matter what size you get. On the 20, you even lose a little bit more. Look how much less pusher you have to actually grab onto. So what that translates to is when it's on your wrist and you go to actually remove it, with the Watch Gecko, you've got plenty of movement. Here, actually, I'll put it on my wrist so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. They stick out nice and far. So you can get your fingers in there, no problem, and push them, right? No problem. But with the iStrap, they're so close to the body that when it's installed, you almost have to pick it up a little bit and squeeze your fingers in there to push them enough to release it. They actually have to go flush with the main part of the mechanism in order to pop and release. And these just have to move a little bit, and they don't even have to go flush. So you've got more to grab, and it just works better. It's something you immediately notice when you go to try to take it off that, wow, that should be different. I mean, you can't even feel it in your fingers because it's so close to the width of the main mechanism. And these stick out. These catch your fingers, and your fingers are touching them and not the actual clasp itself. So this is a far, far more comfortable, better design. To me, well worth paying the few dollars extra. Only downside is, you know, this comes from Amazon, and you're basically gonna get it in a day or two. This comes from the UK. So if you pay for the basic shipping, which I think is $4.99, $3.99, something like that, it can take 10 days. It has to go through customs, and it's on the slow boat shipping, and you know, it takes a while. They do have an upgraded shipping, but it costs even a few dollars more. So it makes it less of a deal, but it comes a lot faster, and it comes UPS. So for that little bit of a cost difference, you do get a noticeable difference in use. Looks-wise and quality-wise, I would call them really about even. On your wrist, you can't tell the difference. It's up to you if it's gonna be worth it or not. To me, it is. Just having that slightly better tolerance, not having as much slop, but most importantly, the ease of use. This simply works like it should, and this doesn't. Just not quite there. But hey, it's almost free. I mean, 11 bucks, who really cares? Get both, try them out. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm gonna show you something really cool. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering what a single-sided looks like, here's one here. Same kind of deal. You got the two pushers on the side to release it. That's it. The whole thing folds like that. Folds back in. It's easier on your wrist. There you go. Faster, especially when it's actually on your wrist. Easier. And you get to keep the cool looking buckle design, which I actually like. I like this better than the, you know, just the plain metal hoop design. But these are more expensive and hard to find because they're not as popular, and they're not being made in quality by as many companies. This happens to be a stock one that came on the watch that I repurposed on this band, and it's just a flawless design. But I've got a couple other brands of this coming to show you just in a few days, maybe the next video. So stay tuned for that. Now, here's what I got coming up over the next few weeks, maybe months. Oh, and by the way, both of those come packaged really well. Here's how Watch Gecko comes, all nice and protected. And the Chinese one was wrapped just as well, both in nice little bags, no damage whatsoever. But I got a bunch of stuff coming in for, not review, for repair practice, for tear down, for I don't know what. We just got a bunch of stuff, and we got some more stuff on the way. Now, I know some of this is fake, but I don't care. I want to open up the guts. Some of it, I'm actually not sure if it's fake. Not all of it runs. Some of it's pretty old. All of it's dirty and beaten up. So we're going to go through, and I'm going to be learning and practicing at the same time. Guts. I'm going to be taking these apart, doing everything I can to see if I can check them out, fix them, spruce them up. I don't know. It's going to depend on the watch. But that's going to be coming up soon. For now, I got some tools to order just for these guys here. So that's it. Hope it helps somebody. If you need a nice upgrade, I highly suggest doing the Clasps. You won't regret it. They're cheap enough to try. Even if you don't end up liking them, why not? Have some fun. See you next time.